Allah Yahweh Bashim Shai Bashim Dash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors, peace, and mercy. To the sincere brothers and sisters doing this, wherever you are, whatever your life may be. Another quick one, and I was reading through Job, and I double back every couple of years. It seems like I go and I read 1 to 3 chapters a day out of the book of Job, just because it's one of my favorite books. There's so much in here, so many things to unpack, and it also, in a small instance, gives you a glimpse into the mind and the personality of Yahweh, right? And in turn, because the scriptures tell you, if you have seen me, you've seen the Father, right? And they are one, meaning they are on one accord. And we'll get that in a second. If you've seen me, you've seen my Father. Now, let's get that before I go on. Come on, man. All right, John 14:9, right? Have I been so long time with you, and yet thou not know me, Philip? He that hath seen me hath seen the Father, and how sayest thou then, show us the Father? Right? So this gives you a glimpse, especially, and then you can also get, reading through the books of in the New Testament, as Yahweh Shai had walked the earth, how he, how he handled things and how he dealt, very austere but merciful, just as the Father. Okay, and he was about, at the end of the day, he was about his Father's business, which we should be as well through Yahweh Shai, right? No man comes to the Father but by the Son. So, like I said, I say all that to say I'm going to read through Job 38, and this kind of gives you a glimpse into the personality, of our Lord, right? An omnipotent being, all right? Ruler and creator of all things seen and unseen, all things that we know and have yet to know until, he reveals those things unto us. And it's like, how do I explain? And I'm going to use a very trivial explanation on how I explain this, and you have to be a little bit older, right? Over the age of 35, over the age of 33. Back when the internet wasn't such a big thing, and you had your favorite rappers or your favorite singers, and they were not known, because I've never been someone who's liked industry rappers. At my entire life, I've hated Jay-Z. I've hated anybody that was always, the mainstream big ups. And through the Spirit, I think I know why, right? They've all proven, everybody wicked, but if you that high up in the industry, like you are no better than shit under the shoe of an Edomite. Like you are lower than low. And now, given the understanding, it makes sense. But anyway, before all of that, especially growing up in Texas, we had our own thing, you know what I'm saying? Our own music, our own style, all that we still do. And like we had local rappers, so rappers like Zero, Trey, Scarface, and K Reno, and just to name a few. We didn't know what these dudes looked like growing up. All we knew was you find a little CD, go to the CD store, FYE Music, I think, because I didn't want to bootleg it, man. I wanted to support them. I was young, and I knew early on what business meant, right? So I went to the FYE Music, and that was my first time seeing what they look like. So you had the personality, right? You knew their music. You knew them through their music, in the same way you know the Lord through his words. But you actually can put a face to a name. And this is, a very pale comparison, not comparing the Lord to any rapper, right? Comparing him to his creation. But this is where we get our personality from. This is where we get, the different things that we feel, right? The Lord is a just power. He is balanced. The Lord feels anger. The Lord feels joy. The Lord has things that he loves. The Lord has things that he hates. Right? If you go to Ecclesiastes, what is that? Out of all the pits, one land. I know it's in Esdras. Dang, I didn't put KJV. And I gotta wait another 5 minutes for this to load. I know it's in Esdras. I just can't remember. Second Esdras 5 and 24. So let's go to that real quick. And then I'll just go back and forth in Job in the other one, in the other app. Second Esdras. Oh, we'll go back to it. Either way, whatever. Second Esdras 5 and 24. But this is all, all along the lines of getting to know the mind of the Lord, not only through, law, statutes, and commandments and things that please him, but also these things, I guess sundry things, sundry likes and dislikes, right? You get to see up close and personal, if you will, with the Lord, right? Through these scriptures. And this is your vehicle, right? If you are given the Spirit, that is the keys to the vehicle, okay? The Holy Spirit is the keys for you to be able to turn the vehicle on and get to where you need to get. 2 Esdras 5:24. All right, and said, O Lord, that bearest rule, every wood of the earth and of all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen thee only one vine, right? He's speaking about the nation of Israel. And of all the lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit, and of all the flowers thereof, one lily, right? We are all, he's pretty much saying, he has this is Israel. These are his people. Esau have I, Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated, right? The Lord is his favorite creations. It talks about the Leviathan, okay? All of these things gives you a glimpse into the mind of your creator, and this should bring you joy. You should be able to relate to this, especially because if we go back to Job 38, does this not sound like an older Jake father or uncle or grandfather, some father figure telling you, since you know every damn thing, tell me this, right? And that's exactly what I what I got from that. And it is, and I love to see things like that because it just brings you even more closer. Like, not that I needed any reassurance knowing that Yahweh Yahushua is real and that we come from them, and that, if I pray for them of that 144,000, that I was here in the making, all right, in the conception of the world that you see today, which is why I'm especially angry, or you get especially pissed off when you know how things are supposed to be and you see how they are run now, the terrible state that the world is in because of some loser. But Job 9 and 24, right? So you gotta weather the storm. Okay, so backstory to Job and his cohorts are going back and forth, trying to figure out, why am I being plagued? Why am I thus? And in the beginning, the Lord wagered with Satan, saying, hey, you can do anything you want to Satan. I mean, it's like you can do anything you want to Job. Just do not harm. You cannot take his life. Right? And then there's your instance of omnipotence, right? If there was a war in heaven between God and Satan, why is Satan coming to the Lord asking for permission? Why did the Lord dictate terms to Satan on what he could and couldn't do? But anyway, let's go ahead and read through this. Okay, it says, canst thou number the months that they fulfill, or know? Hey, hold on. Go back. Because, is it 38? Or 39. Yes, it's 38. I'm sorry, I went to 39. That's it. All right. The Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, who is this that darkeneth counsel by words without knowledge? Who is this talking? You know what I'm saying? What are you talking about? You just loud and wrong. That is what that equates to me. You are loud and wrong. Okay, look, what did he say? Then the Lord answered Job from the whirlwind. Who is this that questioned my wisdom with such ignorant words? Brace yourself like a man, or it says, gird up thy loins, because I require an answer from you. That's what he says here so we'll go to KJV. Gird up now thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee, and answer thou me. Now, what I'm sitting here in my mind being, envisioning this as a, movie playing in my head, and I see this giant whirlwind, and it's heat coming off that mug. You can't even stand that close to it. You covering your eyes, it's bright. You know what I'm saying? The air is hard to breathe. It's thick. I bet you feel heavy. And the whirlwind is like, the Lord's voice coming out as thunder. And it's like, gird up your loins like a man and answer me. Primal fear. All I know is I would have needed to change the drawers. Somebody went in my pants, and it was, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I think about. And I know, and this is just a small instance of the Lord appearing on the earth. How much more when he displays his power in the end? And that was another thing that I was thinking about. Traveling on the highway. That one of the highways in Texas kind of is like a huge overpass. And all I saw was houses to no end. And different establishments and different buildings. And then I wonder, how much fire would it take for all of this? Because remember, the scriptures tell you that that Babylon would be destroyed, to be a lake of fire, nothing left, just a habitation of every unclean and hateful bird, a desert wasteland. How much fire, how much destruction would it take to completely wipe away the landmass that is known as this place? And you got to think about stuff like that. But anyway, let me get back to it, man, because I only got like 4 more minutes. Oh, shit, time flies when you're having fun, right? I only got 4 more minutes to go to skim through this. So I'm just going to hit a couple points, and then that will be the video. And you should read through the book of Job on your own, right? Okay, who is this that questioned my wisdom? That's verse 2. Verse 3, brace yourself like a man, because I have some questions for you, and you must answer them. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Tell me if you know so much. Who determined its dimensions and stretched out the surveying line? What supports its foundation? And who laid its cornerstone? God dog, boy. He describing creation. And these are answers Esau wants so bad, and they don't have it. They can't. The Lord would not allow you to go that far because you are unfit. You wouldn't do anything but ruin the rest of what everything you see turns to shit. So you're just gonna ruin it, right? So Eve wants to know this, and this is a little side note thing. Eve wants to know this stuff so bad, right? But all they do is produce lies and pseudoscience and theories. Blase blah boo de boo. Let's continue on. And who laid its cornerstone? As the morning stars sang together, and all the angels shouted for joy. Who kept the sea inside of its boundaries? Now, you know the power of water, right? And it burst as it burst from the womb. And as I clothed it with clouds and wrapped it in thick darkness. For I locked it behind barred gates, limiting its shores. I said, this far and no further will you come. And that's the same thing he's saying to Eve too. Here your proud waves must stop. Have you ever commanded the morning to appear and caused the dawn to rise in the east? Right? These very ordinances that we take for granted, the rising and the going down of the sun, the phases of the moon, stars that we can see from untold light years away, and you can see them in the sky. Look at them, man. The Lord is far out. You bug yourself out trying to really gain this understanding on your own. This should impress you. This should get you hyped. Like, this is crazy to me. I love this. Call Allah Yahweh Shmi Shah. Let me keep reading. Have you made daylight spread to the ends of the earth to bring an end to the night's wickedness? As the light approaches, the earth takes shape like clay, pressed beneath a seal. It is robed in brilliant colors. The light disturbs the wicked and stops the arm that is raised in violence. Have you explored the springs from which the sea comes? Have you explored their depths? Do you know where the gates of death are located? Have you seen the gates of utter gloom? Do you realize the extent of the earth? Tell me about it if you know. Where does the light come from, and where does darkness go? Can you take each to its home? Do you know how to get there? But of course you know all this, for you were born before it was all created, right? You got it all. Hey, man. I gotta roll. I'm sorry. I hate to have to cut this, but you need to read. If you don't, man, you really need to read. Start at the beginning, but read through the rest of this, because you see, it's 41 verses. I'm not going to be able to cover it all before I got to get back in. But again, this is simply just a piece of information to allow you into the mind and the personality of the Lord, which is something beautiful to behold. And if you are given the spirit to understand what you are reading, call Lord Yahweh Bashmi al praises and continue to be grateful and humble. And the Lord will continue to open your eyes and your ears to things that are written in these scriptures, because you can read the words and everything be locked. It don't come alive until the spirit is given to you, and you know that for a fact, right? So shalom.